Hello, horse lovers. Last night I was having a little trouble falling asleep and I decided I'll mess around on my phone for a little bit. And I came across a news article that I'm surprised people aren't talking about in every horse group on Facebook. Monty Roberts, who was known as the man who listens to horses, has passed away at the age of 91. He passed away August 1st. This man left such an incredible legacy. When he was a child, he saw horses being trained in ways that broke them, completely broke their spirits. And he realized it doesn't have to be this way. There has to be a better way to work with these horses. There has to be a better way to get them to do what the human wants. He wanted to find a way to get the horse to respond, not because they were afraid, but because the horse saw the human as a trustworthy leader and friend who they wanted to please. And he got his answer when he went on a Mustang roundup. And he saw how the boss mare, who actually leads the herd, he found out the stallion doesn't do anything. It's the mare who leads things. But he would observe the boss mare communicating with her foal, and he found his answer. And this became what he called the join-up method. He realized that even as different as a human's body is from the body of a horse, we can still make certain movements, use body positions to tell the horse certain things. And they will respect and respond to their own language. And it's amazing to see this happen when the horse realizes the human is talking to me in my own language. This is amazing. And he faced a lot of criticism for that because people didn't believe, oh, how are you going to learn the language of a horse? Can you really do that? And there were people who believed he was faking it, that he would drug a horse, and or use a horse that had been trained already and fake what he was doing. And he said, that's not what I'm doing, and I'm going to prove it. One of his biggest accomplishments was when he trained the wild Mustang, Shy Boy. He used the join-up method on a completely wild Mustang, unhandled by humans, and he communicated with him. And not only did he get this horse to accept a saddle and bridle out in the wild, he set this horse free, believing that this horse would come back to him, which he did. Shy Boy stayed away for one night, and the next morning he came running back like, hey, you don't leave me out here, I'm coming home. And I'm going to include links in this video. I've already discussed the join-up method and Shy Boy, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time repeating what I've already said in other videos, but it was so amazing the legacy that he left because now people found out his methods do work. I don't have to be harsh with my horse. I can communicate with them. And I've seen this method work with my own horse. I didn't even try with my Hackney pony Bucky. I wasn't even intending to do join up at that time. I'd studied Monty's methods. I didn't feel like I could do them yet. And I was just free lunging my pony, just trying to get Bucky to wear off some energy running around me in circles. And he started giving me the signal saying he wanted to join up. All I had to do was respond in, the way that Monty Roberts would have. I turned away, lowered my head and shoulders to tell him in his own language to come to me, that I was willing to basically make the bargain to be his protector, and in return he would, for the most part, listen to what I say. Now, is this method perfect? Well, does a child always obey their parent? But it creates that relationship where the horse will look to you when they're afraid. They will look to you to see, what are you asking of me? They'll want to please you. And that makes so much difference. Monty's methods were even used by Queen Elizabeth by her horse trainers. She actually invited him to England. And there was actually a documentary made about that called The Queen and the Cowboy.
For years, horse trainers either ignored Roberts or were openly hostile. But all of that changed when his work came to the attention of a lady who lived overseas and owned a few horses.
the queen. She'd always been looking for a less violent way to train horses.
Monty has worked with a lot of different types of horses. Mustangs like Shy Boy. He's worked with different horses who have been injured, who have had trust issues, who've had abusive owners. Horses who were in accidents where they were left traumatized. All kinds of circumstances like that. He used his gentle methods to teach them you don't gotta be afraid, you're okay, you can trust humans safe. And one thing that I haven't seen talked about a lot with Monty, he's probably better known, like I said, for his work with Mustangs, mostly thanks to Cyboy. But he's also done amazing work with racehorses. Now, if you watch horse racing on TV, you'll see that they do not like to go on the starting gate. That's scary for them. They feel things brushing their sides. They think something's going to hurt them. Well, Monty came up with a solution to that. He came up with a special type of blanket, his own invention that covers the sensitive areas of the horse. It's made of a specific material made to come off in the starting gate so that it doesn't interfere with the racing. So if you see one of these blankets used on the racetrack, that's thanks.
The blanket goes just behind the saddle and comes down here and protects this whole rear flank area with heavy padding and leather across there so that they don't actually feel the rail coming through. It dulls off this feeling that they're being attacked as if they were being gnawed on by a predator.
Monty believed that his methods would have the horse want to please the person. Not because they were afraid of the human, but because they saw the human as a friend and protector, as a leader, worthy of respect, worthy of wanting to be pleased. And he applied that same philosophy to literally dozens of foster children, over 40 foster children that he and his wife raised. And he recalled several cases where his methods worked with them, and although he never said it in his interviews, it's scary to think of what might have happened to these kids had they not met someone like Monty. These are kids who could have ended up in jail, who could have ended up in very big trouble. But he got them to want to do the right thing. He remembered a case with a young boy named Billy, whose first words to him were, "Well, Turkey, what do you want?"
What I want is that from this day forward, you will call me Mr. Roberts, and you will not be disrespectful at all. That's what I want. Well, you're not going to get that. You know. Yeah, I probably am going to get that. But, Billy, I'm going to work to get you to want to give me that, rather than to tell you you have to give me that.
To see Monty's methods work and the difference they make for horses and people, it's magic. I know what it felt like when Becky and I joined up. It was definitely a tear-jerking moment. And I know what Monty must have felt when Shy Boy chose to return to him, when he could have had a life in the wild, a life of freedom. But he loved Monty that much, trusted him that much, and that says a lot.
When he came away from those other Mustangs and came to me, the hair stood up on the back of my neck. And there's been just no other feeling like it in my entire career.
Of all the horses that Monty ever worked with, he's probably always going to be most associated with Shy Boy. And with good reason. Just think, Shy Boy loved Monty so much, had so much love and trust in him, that he chose a life with Monty over a life of freedom in the wild. And that says a lot. Shy Boy lived a very long life for a Mustang, an almost unbelievably long life for a Mustang. And that's a testament to the kind of good care he got, but he passed away in March of this year, and when Shy Boy passed away, Monty posted on social media that he expected that he would see him again soon. And I really think that losing Shy Boy probably did have an effect on Monty's health. To see him before that, you'd have never believed this was a 91-year-old man. But they were extremely close, and I really believe the two of them are together again. And they left an amazing legacy, proving that gentle methods work. And I really believe that Monty's teachings saved lives. There are horses who have come from abused backgrounds, who have had bad frights, been in accidents, and his methods have helped them regain confidence and get past their fears. And I have living proof of that. My own pony Bucky came to me very, very spooky. He had been through a lot of harsh treatment. He'd been taught using fear. You do what the human says or you will be hurt. Now, after I joined up with him, we went for a drive one day. He's a hackney pony, just as good for carriage driving as for riding. We went for a drive, and a couple of dogs came at us. And I don't believe they actually meant to bite anyone, but they were just growling and barking sharply, basically saying, "Get off our property," or "Get away from our property." And had Bucky not trusted that I would keep him safe, or worse yet, if he'd believed I was just as likely to hurt him as the dogs were, he would have bolted. And if he'd have bolted, he could have run out into traffic, he could have run off road and flipped the cart. The best we could have hoped for if he would have bolted would have been a severe injury. That would be best case scenario. So I really believe that Monty Roberts' methods save lives. And it really, to me, I see the join up method as a promise. In responding to Bucky giving me the signals that a horse gives during join up, when a horse gives those signals, he's asking you, will you be my herd leader? Will you keep me safe? Do you promise to protect me? And when I respond in a horse's language, lowering my head, lowering my shoulders, turning my back to him, that's horse talk for come to me. Yes, I promise I will protect you. I will be your herd leader. I will keep you safe. And that day with the dogs, Bucky trusted me to keep that promise. So I really have all the respect in the world for Monty Roberts and the work that he did. So I'm very grateful for the legacy that he left. So try to, I invite you to research more of Monty's methods. Read his books. He's written several books, the best of which are The Man Who Listens to Horses and Cyboy, the Horse Who Came In From the Wild. I highly recommend those. And until next time, keep horses in your life.